I greet you in the love and the light of the infinite Creator. Event is coming soon. YouTube channel. Here's the latest intel.
The biggest cover-up in U.S. history, what Obama and NASA don't want you to know. The final shift fast approaches. We live in a time when common sense has become quite rare. Likewise, the voice of reason has fled humankind. For these reasons the following essay will be quite difficult for many to understand or believe or imbibe. Contemplation. If you were running the world during these tumultuous times, and you knew that events were on the horizon which would forever alter the entire planetary civilization, would you use the global mainstream media to tell everyone? If those earth-shattering events were as unstoppable as they were fateful, would you disseminate this information? If your answer is yes, what will the 7 billion plus people who reside on planet Earth do the next day? That is, after you tell them that their world is about to come to an end. Will they still go to work? Will they continue to support the consumer society? Will many of them even want to get out of bed again after they hear what is coming? Herein lies the challenge that is faced by the World Shadow Government, WSG. Bear in mind that they know exactly what is around the corner. Their strategically located observatories and high-powered telescopes give them access to scientific data and astronomical phenomena which is so compelling they feel they have no alternative but to distract us, deceive us, divert our attention. Remember, there is one thing, more than anything else, which the WSG fears. That is uncontrolled chaos. They know, greater than that, real mayhem in the streets will not treat them well. Therefore, spontaneous social pandemonium is their greatest worry. Unpredictable political paroxysms strike fear into their hearts. Uncontrollable financial volatility will only serve to shatter their control matrix. With this understanding one can better comprehend the many unreasonable and irrational, mindless and foolish, crazy and insane actions taken by the World Shadow Government. Obviously they know that their time is up. Accordingly, they have less and less control, by the day, over how things will play out. Yes, they may have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. However, there are many emerging eventualities over which they have far less influence than what they are used to. Their bunkers buried deep underground may not be in the protected areas they once thought. Nor are their off-planet rendezvous sites as safe from solar system calamities as they once believed. Of course their experiments with time travel and interstellar travel, wormholes and parallel universes, blank slate technology and invisibility cloaking have already proved disastrous. Before we continue to address the unfoldment of their master plan, and how it is thwarted at every turn, exactly what is it that the WSG is so concerned about? Does something lurk in the far reaches of the solar system which is their undivided attention? You be the judge. We are not suggesting that all of the scientific predictions of Carlos Muñoz Ferrada are entirely accurate. Prophecies of this nature are rarely perfect. However, what this highly intuitive and gifted astronomer and seismologist has told us cannot be ignored. Carlos Muñoz Ferrada predicted with extraordinary accuracy numerous earthquakes in South America during the last century. He did this by making direct correlations between specific astronomical phenomena and various catastrophic earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. His most significant prediction regards the future arrival of a great comet planet. For those who did not watch the preceding video, Ferrada calls it a comet planet because it has the size of a planet, and the speed and elliptical orbit of a comet. Whether you believe or not what this video portrays is not essential. What matters is that there have been numerous prognostications of this nature over millennia which simply can no longer be ignored in the face of such pervasive and compelling evidence. What kind of evidence? Before we go there, it's important to point out that Latin America has produced other gifted visionaries just like Carlos Muñoz Ferrada. Here are three of those individuals who have independently referred to the future happenings delineated by Carlos Ferrada. 1. Villamor Ballou, 1926 to 2000, was born in Lima, Colombia. In 1998 he wrote Herculeabus or Red Planet. Based on his direct and conscious experience, Coverup describes the terrible events that will happen on our planet in the short term and explains the path that the human being can follow in order to achieve a deep transformation. Coverup, a planet so called by the sages of antiquity, is approaching our solar system and is the cause of great concern for those who know about such cosmic phenomena. In our former encounter, Coverup put an end to the Atlantean civilization. These facts are duly related through all the universal floods of different religions and cultures. The consequence of the very close proximity of Coverup will be upheaval in all corners of our planet. Coverup or Red Planet by V. M. Rebelu, Diana's Pub, October 1, 2002. 2. Benjamin Solari Paravicini, 1898–1974, was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina on August 8. Benjamin Solari Paravicini, the great Argentinian prophet, who was nicknamed the South American Nostradamus, wrote some decades ago, "The hour of hours will arrive and in its darkness the crash of the big planet will be received. The earth will be reversed. Everything will fall." www.thefinalprophecy.info. 3. Samael Anwar, March 6, 1917. December 24, 1977, was born as Victor Manuel Gómez Rodriguez in Bogotá, Colombia. Samael Anwar, the great Gnostic master who gave numerous lectures in Mexico during the 70s. He talked about Coverup and explained that, in the times of the end, it would approach the earth. Due to its great electromagnetic power, he said it would destabilize the earth's crust, causing huge earthquakes, tidal waves, volcanic eruptions and natural disasters. Coverup would have approached our solar system in former occasions to unleash cataclysms that wiped out the Lemurian and Atlantean civilizations. Now, he said, it would come again to end our civilization and allow a new era to begin. The Final Prophecy by the Alchin Association. Why else do you think the Vatican owns an observatory outside of Safford, Arizona? Not only does the Vatican operate the Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope, VAT, at Mount Graham International Observatory, MGO, located in southeast Arizona's Pinalino Mountains, they share the same facility with the Large Binocular Telescope Observatory. The Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope, aka the VAT, is a 1.8-meter Gregorian telescope observing in the optical and infrared. Why infrared? Because Planet X is often referred to as a brown dwarf which has cooled down so much that it can only be detected in this range of light frequency. Construction of MGO began in 1989. MGO currently operates and maintains facilities for 3 scientific organizations. The first 2 telescopes, the Vatican Advanced Technology Telescope and the Heinrich Hertz Submillimeter Telescope, began operations in 1993. The Large Binocular Telescope, one of the world's largest and most powerful telescopes, began operations using mirrors independently in 2004, with joint operations between the 2 mirrors beginning in 2008. Per Wikipedia, Mount Graham International Observatory. The Vatican Secret Archives has probably more volumes of original documents in the form of scriptural treatises, as well as historical records produced by the ancients, than any other library on earth. The Roman Catholic Church is further informed about the future of humanity from the numerous Marian apparitions which have occurred around the world over the past 200 years. It is a well-known fact in certain circles, for example Curia and Magisterium, that many of the prophecies, which were given to mostly children, have never been released by the church hierarchy because of the dire content. Why might this be the case? Because those controllers of information know that such doses of reality are simply too much for the masses to bear. Of course, they have deliberately leaked this and that information over many decades so that those who have ears to hear will receive the messages they are meant to. The Vatican is also well aware of the Saint Malachi's prophecy regarding the last 10 popes, as well as those similar revelations given in various Marian apparitions. By these and other accounts, such as Nostradamus, the current Pope, Francis I, will be the final Roman pontiff in the tradition of the Catholic Church of Rome. One of those prognostications presents the actual context of when the current pope would be forced to flee Rome in December when the Great Comet is seen in the daytime. Medjugorje is just one of the latest and most famous series of Marian prophecy which clearly indicates that huge changes are coming to planet Earth. Whenever these predictions veer into Earth-change territory, they always speak of massive, unprecedented and cataclysmic events overtaking the entire planetary realm. No location is spared, except those which are preordained as safe havens for the protected portion of humanity that is to be safeguarded. The Marian apparitions at Garabandal also imparted prophecy which used similar language about a warning to all of humanity, as well as a chastisement which would humble every human being. So have many other lesser-known appearances of the Blessed Virgin Mary such as those known as the Bayside prophecies. Even the third secret of Fatima is said to concern the end times, which is why it was never officially released by the Vatican. The primary agent of such massive, global change is usually referred to as a shift, specifically an axis pole shift where the Earth actually shifts on its axis by a number of degrees. In her book Mary's Message to the World, Annie Kirkwood makes it clear that Mary speaks about the turning of the Earth. An axis pole shift is the only planet-wide geophysical event which can generate so many predicted changes. The historical record, both geological and archaeological, is replete with hard evidence of periodic planetary catastrophism. Our blue orb has, in fact, experienced global landmass rearrangements at the closing of eras and conclusion of epochs since the beginning of time. As we approach the current denouement of the Kali Yuga, Age of Conflict, also known as the Iron Age, it is certain that Mother Earth will once again turn on her axis. So that the old lands can be rejuvenated and refreshed, this is but a necessity. So that the new lands can emerge to sustain the new race of humanity is likewise an essential byproduct of axial pole shifts. Therefore, the real $64,000 question is just what kind of celestial event would provide the requisite interplanetary dynamic to precipitate a shifting of the Earth on its axis? Barring an invisible form of Deus Ex Machina to produce such an outcome, only a celestial intruder of great order would possess all the right stuff to cause the Earth to literally roll over and stay there as the new normal. Hence, we see more weight than ever afforded to the various schools of thought which promote a Planetex, Herculeabus, Nibiru, Wormwood, 10th Planet, Red Planet, the Destroyer, Nemesis, Marduk, Tyche, Red Star Cacaina, Barnard. All of these names have been proffered as candidates for the heavenly body which may be responsible for both past and future catastrophism on Earth. That's not to say that there are not other diverse possibilities when considering the various apocalyptic scenarios which the planet has been proven to undergo. However, asteroids and large meteors, gamma bursts and supernovas each have their obvious deficiencies when trying to explain an event like a pole shift. Of all the theories which abound, and there are many on the internet, the narrative surrounding Herculeabus seems to be the most plausible. It also appears to be the one which forms the basis for all the others. Even the Nibiru story, and their Anunnaki travelers, seem to have originated from the Herculeabus version of earth-shaking events. It's true the Sun has been going through some major changes over the past few decades. We wonder if its new location in the galaxy vis-à-vis the galactic center is enough to bring about such a profound and fundamental transformation. We also wonder if there are other galactic happenings, both seen and unseen, which may be triggering and sustaining Sol's new behavior. As the Sun ages, it is quite possible that it is simply entering a new phase of existence, not too unlike a teenager growing into a young adult. However, there does exist an overwhelming body of evidence which points directly to the influence of sizable planetary sphere within the outer reaches of our solar system. This would also explain many of the other recent and radical changes undergone by all the other planets. Especially one with an immense gravitational field would be required for the axis shift in question to occur. Such a celestial body would also have to possess other extraordinary properties and unique features in order to effectuate a pole shift, as is often foretold. In other words, it appears to have its own type of intelligence. So now the question is, where is it? Just where is the heavenly body which may be careening toward our solar system at this very moment? Dr. Jerry Neugebauer, IR's chief scientist for California's Jet Propulsion Laboratory and director of the Palomar Observatory for the California Institute of Technology, rendered an account which ended up in the Washington Post back in 1983. A heavenly body possibly as large as the giant planet Jupiter and possibly so close to Earth that it would be part of this solar system has been found in the direction of the constellation Orion by an orbiting telescope aboard the U.S. infrared astronomical satellite. So mysterious is the object that astronomers do not know if it is a planet, a giant comet, a nearby protostar that never got hot enough to become a star, a distant galaxy so young that it is still in the process of forming its first stars, or a galaxy so shrouded in dust that none of the light cast by its stars ever gets through. All I can tell you is that we don't know what it is, Dr. Jerry Neugebauer said in an interview. Another noted astronomer, Dr. Robert S. Harrington, was convinced of the existence of a Planet X because of the perturbations which many in his field had observed on both Neptune and Uranus. Robert Sutton Harrington, October 21, 1942, January 23, 1993, was an American astronomer who worked at the United States Naval Observatory, USNO. Harrington became a believer in the existence of a Planet X beyond Pluto and undertook searches for it, with positive results coming from the IRAD probe in 1983. Harrington collaborated initially with T.C. Tom Van Flandern. When scientists noticed that Uranus wasn't following its predicted orbit, for example, they didn't question their theories. Instead they blamed the anomalies on an as yet unseen planet and, sure enough, Neptune was discovered in 1846. Now astronomers are using the same strategy to explain quirks in the orbits of Uranus and Neptune. According to John Anderson of the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, this odd behavior suggests that the Sun has an unseen companion, a dark star gravitationally bound to it but billions of miles away. Other scientists suggest that the most likely cause of the orbital snags is a 10th planet 4 to 7 billion miles beyond Neptune. A companion star would tug the outer planets, not just Uranus and Neptune, says Thomas Van Flandern of the U.S. Naval Observatory. And where he admits a 10th planet is possible, but argues that it would have to be so big, at least the size of Uranus, that it should have been discovered by now. What is causing the dramatic and meteoric changes throughout the solar system? The planets, all of them, have been experiencing unparalleled and dramatic transformation never seen or recorded before. They are undergoing variations in their atmospheres. For example, the Martian atmosphere is getting sizably thicker and Earth's moon is growing in atmosphere, and according to Dr. Alexei Mitrev, there is a 6,000-kilometer deep layer of natrium that wasn't there previously. He says that we're having this kind of change in the upper levels of Earth's atmosphere where whole gas is forming that wasn't there before. It simply did not exist in the quantity that it does now. It's not related to global warming, and it's not related to CFCs or fluorocarbon emissions or any of that stuff. It's just showing up. Magnetic fields and brightness of the planets are changing. The planets are experiencing sizable increases in their overall luminosity. Venus, for example, is showing us marked elevations in its overall brightness. Jupiter has such a high energetic charge now that there is actually a visible tube of ionizing radiation that has formed between it and its moon. You can actually see the luminous energy tube in photographs that have been taken recently. In addition, the magnetic field strength of each planet has increased. Uranus and Neptune appear to have had recent pole shifts. When the Voyager 2 space probe flew past Uranus and Neptune, the apparent north and south magnetic poles were sizably offset from where the rotational pole was. In one case, it was 50 degrees off, and in the other case the difference was around 40 degrees, both of which are pretty big changes. The overall changes could essentially be broken down into three categories: energy field changes, luminosity changes, atmospheric changes. The biggest danger for Earth, the Herculeabus, Planet X, Inbound. By Luis Freitas, August 29, 2010. Global climate change is increasing and intensifying rapidly. Everywhere. The preceding headlines, from 2013 only, tell the story much better than we can. The worldwide weather patterns have gone into a crash and burn mode, both literally and figuratively. Every region of the world has now experienced a periodic and profound departure from their traditional weather norms since records have been kept. Global climate change does not accurately describe the planetary predicament. An ongoing worldwide atmospheric apocalypse does. Manifesting as localized weather cataclysms, as stated in the recent CCRG article on global warming. Might the incoming comet planet have hyperdimensional qualities? First, it is critical to understand that the physical nature and behavior of this hypothetical comet planet can only be properly understood when viewed through the lens of the electric universe theory, as well as plasma cosmology. Being cognizant that the universe is comprised of plasmas, ionized gases, which make up 99.999% of the visible universe is the only way to correctly apprehend the unique characteristics of such a heavenly body. For instance, Carlos Ferrada has stated that Herculeus travels at 300 km per second for half of its orbit. In the video he emphasizes that this is 1/1000 th of the speed of light. Therefore, we can only assume that this particular heavenly body is quite literally a heavenly body. One that obeys a set of laws that can neither be defined by quantum mechanics nor theory of relativity. It may even be the case that the electric universe cannot adequately explain the dynamic components of a comet planet. For the uninitiated, the esoteric field of hyperdimensional physics, HDP, is still emerging from its infancy. It does, however, provide a quasi-geophysical context in which a celestial body of extraordinary size, mass and speed can behave as a comet planet. Both the electric universe theory and HDP also accommodate many other inexplicable aspects of the solar system and anomalies throughout the Milky Way galaxy which have eluded sound scientific explanation for decades. Likewise, there are countless other galactic phenomena, which the current astronomy and astrophysics paradigms do not sufficiently illuminate or support. In light of these and many other inconsistencies found throughout the tenuous teachings of the academic establishment, it must be noted that the conventional wisdom has been found wanting in this regard. Clearly, there is very little room for either periodic catastrophism or comet planets within the existing realm of astrophysics research institutions or their peer-reviewed scientific journals. Neither are rarely addressed with any seriousness for reasons that perhaps have more to do with premeditated denial and purposeful obfuscation, as was previously discussed. Yes, the whole subject matter is simply too radioactive for the establishment to take up in any factual or meaningful way. And so it shall remain until the end of days. Herculeus, an unusual event, is going to accelerate the process of swift change to the axis of the planet Earth. I am referring to the planet Herculeus. This planet is 6 times bigger than the planet Jupiter. The planet Herculeus belongs to the distant solar system of Tylo. The solar system of Tylo is rapidly approaching our solar system, and Herculeus is rapidly approaching Earth. Modern astronomers have before their sight the planet Herculeus, or as it is known by modern science, the Barnard star. This planet is a powerful giant that will pass through an angle of our solar system. When this happens, the revolution of the axis of the planet Earth will accelerate violently. Then the final catastrophe will occur. Some scientists believe that they will be able to push this monstrous planet away with nuclear explosions, but this will be useless. It will be impossible to push this tremendous mass of a planet out of the way with mere nuclear bombs. This same planet brought Atlantis to an end. Before Atlantis existed, it annihilated the existence of another continent. We know very well that the continent of New or Lemuria sank within the waters of the boisterous Pacific Ocean after 10,000 years of earthquakes and incessant volcanic eruptions. Samael Anwar, The Aquarian Message. When will the final shift occur? There is only one answer to this question. Those who reside at the very peak of the pinnacle of global control matrix know the answer. They have all been here before. When scientific knowledge and applied technology reach a critical level of advancement, Without being informed by spiritual truths and guided by moral authority, the current civilization will relinquish its right to continue as it is. Cosmic Convergence Research Group. It is really that simple. This statement also captures the essence of why the timing is so difficult for anyone to pin down. Because those who direct the most consequential and far-reaching scientific research experiments in the solar system know exactly what they're doing. They actually have their foot on the accelerator. Of course, the highest power controls all, so the actual moment of truth will come like a thief in the night, as it always does. Since Herculeus can behave as a hyperdimensional entity, it exists outside of the normally perceived parameters of our universe. It is, however, extremely impressionable and responsive. Were it to receive the frequencies which indicated that the misguided scientists, and their controllers, have really crossed the line, it just might show up on our doorstep tomorrow. Literally. However, there are all kinds of agency with which to send the final message. Whether the agent shows up Deus Ex Machina style or in the form of a huge red planet also known as the planet of the crossing remains to be seen, yes. What is of greater interest to those of us who have watched this drama unfold is exactly where in our solar system the curtain will go up. During previous epochs, the show always began at the crossing place or place of transition, as the Akkadian name of Nibiru means. Whether the final shift will be triggered by the winged disk or a solar killshot is really anyone's guess. Nevertheless, because there is no doubt that the future of humankind lies in the balance, as does the fate of planet Earth, we are compelled to point out the following: the solar system and Milky Way galaxy have an elegant order and beauty. The outcomes of runaway applied science and unchecked applied technology do not always support this established order. In fact, there are numerous covert DARPA programs such as HARP, and concealed NASA initiatives as described in Dark Mission, which fly directly in the face of an orderly universe. Therefore, we issue the following challenge and caveat to the folks at NASA who have contacted us in the past. It goes like this: just how far do you plan to go before you put the entire civilization in jeopardy? How much more engineering of the Earth and manipulation of the solar system will you conduct before irreparable harm has been inflicted? You know by now that the galaxy gives residence to all manner of ET civilizations. Just as it houses different planes of existence, each and every loca or dimension is inextricably connected. Therefore, what you do down here will have effects throughout the cosmos. Above all, be aware that when your actions affect the destiny of other planets or solar systems or ET civilizations, which are not karmically meant to be affected, the time is very, very near. We ask, just what kind of effects do you want to have from this point forward in your neck of the woods? More importantly, you will want to deeply consider the repercussions should those effects cross the inviolable line. Be very careful about what you pursue to the detriment of the galactic environment. Earth has already been devastated, so it must be cleaned up before you look to soil another nest. Lastly, it would seem at this late date that you would want to be more careful than ever about what you manifest into reality, both here and above. Other signs on Earth, and omens in the heavens, that something very big is around the corner. And that is the number of man-made catastrophes which are engineered wittingly or unwittingly. For example, each of the past 4 years have brought to the planet an extraordinary event of truly historic and monumental proportions. We all saw the BP Gulf oil spill of 2010. We all witnessed the Fukushima nuclear catastrophe of 2011. We then experienced Superstorm Sandy in 2012. And, of course, we just finished experiencing the U.S. government shutdown in 2013. What is important to understand about each of these events is that they are all ongoing. The people on the Gulf of Mexico coastline will verify this, as will the whole country of Japan. So will the residents of the Jersey Shore. Likewise, the entire USA is just waiting for the next debt default doomsday date. What's the point? There is something much bigger going on in the background which compels the WSG to completely ignore the real solutions to these and many other urgently pressing matters. At the same time, whenever they do respond they seem to do so in a manner that guarantees an exacerbation of the problems which humanity faces. Another perfect example of this willful neglect and ineffective remediation is the proliferation of space junk. Especially junk which is powered with nuclear energy. Can you imagine that stuff is sent up into space which produces nuclear byproducts and/or radioactive wastes? For instance, in 2005 at least 13 nuclear reactor fuel cores, 8 thermoelectric generators, whose heat source is a radioactive element, and 32 nuclear reactors were known to be in Earth orbits below 1,700 kilometers. Where is it all going to go when perhaps their completely cavalier attitude and reckless response to so many things is a reflection of what really does matter to them at this very late date? Who could deny that a Herculeabus would fit the profile of such a grave and momentous concern? We can only conclude that the rapid and relentless weaponization of space, which has occurred since the Reagan years, may be less about controlling the territory below, and more about eliminating threats from above. And that the Stars Wars program, aka the Strategic Defense Initiative, was actually conceived in anticipation of a war in the heavens. Or with unwelcomed celestial intruders? Conclusion: with all the aforementioned changes happening right in our own backyard, read Planet Earth, is it any wonder global climate change has taken the world by storm? As for the true cause of such pervasive, profound and permanent changes, a Herculeabus in our neighborhood appears to be a very realistic possibility. Quite frankly, it might be better if humankind assume that it is as real as our highly esteemed Chilean astronomer has described it. In this way, the community of nations would get down to the business of respecting our precious planet, not competing for its every resource. We are concerned that if a concerted effort is not made in earnest, with haste and in good faith, the future will be much less pleasant than it has to be. Always, the people of the world have the inherent power to positively affect all the outcomes referred to in this paper. The more we resonate with relevance for Mother Earth, the quicker the message can be delivered to her sister planets and brother planetoids that we have relented in our harmful behavior. The following essay clearly delineates the concealed relationship that exists between planet Earth and the luminaries. More importantly, it portrays the fundamental relationship between humanity and Mother Earth, as well as between humankind and the Sunday. Understanding the true nature of these relationships, and acting on it with sincere reverence and respect, is the single best way of averting any unwanted prophecy or negative outcome, no matter how carved in stone they may appear to be. Truly, a collective consciousness filled with light and wisdom and love can serve to mitigate even the most severe consequences of wrong living. If ever there was a time to unite around a single cause, this is it. Once we exceed the point of no return, what will come cannot be stopped. Nor can the severity be alleviated once the key dominoes start to fall. We do think it is long past the hour to reverse the course of our civilization. It's actually less than a minute to midnight. The world's shadow government has proven time and again that it would rather take the path of least resistance. Doing nothing is certainly the best way to not alert the public about these eventualities. They also know that the die has been cast many decades ago, and that their predecessors chose to chart a course which would be more and more difficult to change with each passing day. There is no question that the collective will and predominant intention of the human race has great power. Likewise, a common purpose among the community of nations can change the many self-defeating trajectories on which the civilization finds itself. Planet Earth is currently in a very unique place within the galaxy, suffused with sublime light, rarefied energies and benevolent grace. The challenge remains how to harness this fortuitous position of destiny for the highest good of everyone concerned. What shall we do? Individually, we can remain centered, grounded and focused on what is really important in each moment. If nothing else, each of us can go within to find our strength, our courage, and our resolve to make it through and out the other side happy, healthy and whole. Truly, going within during these challenging times, and meditating on the Supreme Consciousness will guide us in our moments of greatest need. May Almighty God have compassion on us all.
For additional information, please visit our website, theeventiscomingsoon.com, and our Facebook page at facebook.com/theeventiscomingsoon, your alternative news source for disclosure and the event. Make sure you search our library of videos. You may have missed some very important information and intel. Remember to subscribe to receive updates on our new videos.
Be sure to visit our sister channel, the event is coming soon, for more information and intel.
Stay tuned.
We leave you in the love and the light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth and rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one Creator. Victory of the light.
Event is coming soon. YouTube channel.